Jesus says in Luke chapter 24, verse 49, "Look, I am sending you what my Father promised, and as for you, stay in the city until you are empowered from on high." You know, Jesus is giving his disciples some instructions. He's telling them, first of all, we see here that God promised you something, and I am going to deliver it. One of the reasons, a big reason, that Jesus had to leave this earth, why he had to go back to heaven, was so that he would be glorified and the Holy Spirit would come. Ever since Jesus left and Jesus was glorified, the Holy Spirit has been on this earth indwelling the children of God, the followers of Jesus. That was so important. The Holy Spirit is revealing Jesus to us, in us, through us, each and every day. Such an important thing. And God had promised this. Jesus says God's going to keep his promise. I am going to make it happen. So that's an amazing thing. And there are times when God promises other people something and he works through us to deliver that promise. So that's something we can always keep in mind. You know, how am I supposed to deliver the promise of God to my neighbor, to my friend, to my family, to my coworker, or whatever? Look for those opportunities. But then we see Jesus give them a specific instruction. He says, stay in the city. Hang out here until the promise has been delivered. Until you have been empowered, it says, from high. This brings, I think, another important point in our Christian lives. I'm sure we've all had those times when we were sure God had promised us something. You know, whether it was something that we were going to receive, whether he'd promised to make us a part of something, whatever, we feel very, very strongly, we're sure that God has promised something to us, but it hasn't happened. We're waiting and waiting. And it's easy at this point to get discouraged and to believe that God's not going to keep his promise, that maybe I misread something. But let us remember this. God keeps his promises. First of all, God is a promise keeper. We need to trust that totally, 100%. Never doubt God and his promises. You know, we can go to him and make sure we understood the promise right, but never doubt his promises. If God promised, it's going to happen. But remember this too. God, unless he very specifically said it's going to happen at a certain day and time, is not obligated to fulfill that promise on our time, when we think that we want it, when we think that we need it. You know, so we have to be careful. You know, God, at many times, is preparing us to accept the promise. Maybe we're not ready spiritually. Maybe we're not ready physically. Whatever it may be, there's many, many reasons. God knows the exact reasons. We don't necessarily know, and we don't have to know. All we know is, have to know and believe, is God keeps his promises, and we need to be willing to prepare ourselves for it. And you ask God, how can I prepare for this promise? You know, and don't miss the opportunities that you have throughout each and every day. Maybe part of your preparation is to be obedient in the small things, insignificant things of life as you go through life. You know, people that you meet, maybe it's just a small thing here and there. And as you're obedient, then, and that prepares your heart to really truly serve God, maybe in a different way, or to receive the blessing he has, so that you use that blessing in the right way. Because remember, if God promises you something, it's almost never just for you. You're supposed to share whatever God gives you. And that's not just, this isn't a money speech or anything like that. This is about, yes, money, possessions, it's about time, it's about knowledge, whatever it may be that God's promised you and he gives you. And so maybe these little acts of obedience along the way are helping to prepare us for that. Then the other thing that we maybe sometimes don't think about is that God's timing is perfect. And what I mean by that is not just about for us. Yes, we have to be prepared right, and everything has to be right for us. So his timing in our lives is perfect. But we also have to remember that the timing for his kingdom needs to be perfect also. Maybe the blessing that he's going to give to us, or maybe the promise that he's promised to us, is going to be used in some way to affect other people. And we have to remember that God's timing is perfect, not only for us, but for his kingdom. And so we should be consoled by that fact. We should be willing to wait patiently, to look for opportunities to serve while we're waiting, look for opportunities to grow while we're waiting. Make sure that we don't miss what God has for us on a day-to-day basis while we're waiting for his promise to be delivered. So I would encourage you today to seek God daily, asking him for patience, ask him to help you to see the reason for waiting, but most of all, seek a deeper, more intimate relationship with him while you are waiting. If this video has encouraged you in any way, has helped you, has challenged you, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments if you want to, and may God always bless you.